About the age of 30, I really began wondering, what is this all about? I get up every morning, work, live for the weekend, party, go back to work. I knew there had to be more. And I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. I said, Lord, I give up. I have screwed up the first 30 years of my life. If you'll take me and forgive me and use me, I'll give you the rest of my life. I initially came to Berean because I was looking for a church that taught right out of the Bible. I started bringing my kids, they were 3 and 4, and dropping my son off, I decided to stay. And I was watching the gal teach, and every time she would do something, I would say, well, if I was teaching, I would do this, or I would have said it this way. And literally, the Holy Spirit said, well, then why don't you? And I literally gasped sitting there because it was so real. That was really the first time I believe I heard the voice of the Holy Spirit. I knew I had to do it. I knew God was calling me to do it, and I took that step.
Good job,
Man, I like them boots. There you go.
It talks about in the Bible how unless you become like a child, you will not see the kingdom of heaven. And I really didn't get that at first. But as I watch these little 3-year-olds and their innocence, it is astounding. It can be brutal, like they'll tell me, Teacher Rick, your breath stinks. Or they'll say, your tummy's getting bigger.
When is your birthday? Do you know?
I can't remember.
Can't remember? Is it very soon?
But when you walk in a classroom or walk down the hallway and a little child breaks away from their parent and they come running to you and they say, Teacher Rick, the reality is what they're saying is, this guy loves me, and they've given you permission to have input in their life. That only happens when you serve. You can't experience that when you're sitting watching a video. You have to get involved. There's just no other way.
Are we gonna start over? Okay, let's make a base. Let's use the...
Part of our issue is we're self-focused. When you're involved in other people's lives, all of a sudden your problems and your heartaches don't seem so big.
God said, Teacher Rick, I want you to teach 3-year-olds. And I said, you have the wrong guy. I can't even talk in front of 3-year-olds. I was scared to death. I said, there's no way I can teach kids. God said, trust me. You can teach kids. And so I said, all right, I'll do it. And so here I am. I'm teaching 3-year-olds. And today I got to tell you the story of Moses. What is this right here? It's fire, isn't it?
Moses is a man just like me. It's the same God asking Moses to do the same thing he was asking Teacher Rick. It's no different.
My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do.
When I said yes to God that day, he never asked me to serve 30 years. All he said was, will you be available? And I said yes. This big God wanted to use Rick Schwarz. Now, to me, that's mind-boggling. I would never pick me, but that's what our God does. He says, I'm going to take broken people and I'm going to use them for my glory, just like he did Moses. And that's my story. It really is my story.